My name's Angelo, and welcome to We Want Picks. This is the only channel dedicated to UFC fight picks and DraftKings lineups run by MMA insiders and professional fighters. Every week, I join Dan Kramer and Nick Newell, two longtime professional fighters that have fought at the highest levels on the planet, as well as Jacob Lyons, a skinny kid from Indiana. So join us every single week for our full fight card breakdowns, our individual fight card breakdowns, our betting guide, and our DraftKings lineups. Next up at UFC 263, we have Drew Dober versus Brad Riddell, two strikers that are going to go at it. Drew Dober, 3-2 in his last five. Brad Riddell, 5-0 in his last five. He's looked fantastic. This is the hardest one. I think I said this earlier, so maybe I'm full of crap. This is one of the harder ones. Like I really want to pick Brad Riddell here. I really, really do. Drew Dober is tricky though. Like Drew Dober
Don't back off what you said earlier to me. I mean,
I think Brad Riddell wins. Let me build up to it.
All right. Well, you just sound like you're backpedaling. You were very confident earlier when we spoke.
I saw your bets and I said, really, I think Brad Riddell wins. I didn't break it down, but I think Brad Riddell wins. And Drew Dober is very tough and very good. We picked against him in his last fight. He was like the underdog pick of the century for some reason against Islam, which was crazy to me. I mean, we know wrestling is the issue, and Islam is as good as it gets when it comes to the wrestling department. So that there were no surprises for us in that last fight, but that still doesn't take away from who Drew Dober actually is. And he was on a nice streak until the Islam fight. He's got very good striking. He's very tough. And he imposes his will when he needs to, and he does it effectively. Brad Riddell is, I think, the more technical striker. He scrambles really, really well if he needs to. I think this will be a close fight, but I'm going with Brad Riddell.
Riddell is the more technical striker?
I think so. The more technical boxer, at least. And I think Brad wins because he's a little more technical. So my pick is Brad Riddell. I think this is like razor thin. With that being said, I think DraftKings is where Brad shines. I mean, $7,700 in a fight that he can win. $7,700 is a very low number. If you look at the odds are probably pretty accurate. But DraftKings, I think he's way more alive than $7,700 in DraftKings.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with you there on the DraftKings value. There is definitely value on Riddell here because I think it's going to be a close fight. I watched tape on both of them, and it's going to be high-level striking kind of from both guys. I did decide to pay the $8,500 for Drew Dober. But, before I get into him and why I think it's going to happen, let's break down Riddell real quick. So good stocky striker, mostly boxing. So I'll give you that. Probably a more technical boxer, but it's mostly boxing out of him. Really good jab, good left hook. He's totally fine with trading in the pocket. Solid takedown defense, although I don't think that's going to matter in this fight. No. He's got a good training camp with Volkanovski, Kai Kara-France, City Kickboxing, that whole crew. So he's got a good team around him. His last fight against Alex Da Silva, he lost that first round. I mean, he got taken down, controlled. He did work to get up pretty well, and shot his own takedown kind of randomly and almost got caught in a guillotine. But Da Silva definitely won that first round. The second round, though, is where you got to see Brad Riddell kind of defend the takedowns a lot better. Started landing more punches, but again, still competitive. And then the third round is where Riddell's defending the takedowns really allowed him to let his hands go, show that he had the better conditioning, and he started pouring it on. So I think his conditioning won him that fight more than anything. But overall, I was really impressed with kind of both guys, but Riddell looked very, very good. Then we get to Drew Dober. So trains with Gaethje, another very good camp. High level striker, in my opinion. Southpaw, powerful left hand. The thing I am most impressed by him, or impressed with him by, is his ability to pressure people and cut off angles. He is relentless pressure, great pace, great cardio, very, very good takedown defense. I mean, don't watch his last fight because I think Islam made it look like he doesn't have good takedown defense. But if you watch the takedowns in that fight, Islam has some of the most diverse variety of takedowns possible. It's very, very hard to prepare for a guy like that. He could double leg you. He could single leg you. He could hit you with a trip. He could do Greco. Like, he is just a very, very, very good wrestler. So I think that wrestling completely nullified Dober's abilities. But if you look at other fights where he had more striking exchanges, like the Hernandez fight, who's also a good striker, when he got taken down, he got right back up. But that's where I was most impressed by his ability to just stalk guys down. And he's never in a straight line. He's cutting off angles, and he's working that to his advantage. Like, he beat up Hernandez on the feet so bad, and I mean, just walked him down. It was just, to me, it was one of the most impressive fights I've seen striking wise out of a while. I think Joe Rogan actually said he's one of the most underrated fighters in the UFC, or one of the most underrated strikers in the UFC. And I agree. So I think this fight is going to be definitely fight of the night potential. But I give Dober the edge here in the power and also kind of the diversity of his attack. I think he's got more Muay Thai style capabilities, more kicks if needed. So I'm going with him. I think it's going to be a slugfest, a ton of points either way. And I think Dober just got the upside of the knockout. And I think he's just a little bit better, to be honest, striking wise. So,
yeah, it's definitely going to be a close fight. I said Brad's my pick because of his. I think his boxing is just more technical. I think he's a little faster. But I'm not confident enough in that to throw money or anything like that on it. I'm just feeling Brad.
I got to bet on this one. I don't know what the lines move to, but check out Bet Online. If you can, I got to think at -140, so it might be moving that way. But honestly, I would take him all the way up to -160, -1. I just think
you're that confident. Wow.
I think so. I mean, I'm not that confident. I like stylistically how this fight goes for him.
So I'm not that confident in my pick, but what I am very confident in is the more on this line. The only way the monkey knife fight line you don't get more is if there is a stoppage. Other than that, it is only striking. There will be 0 time wasted against the cage, 0 time wasted with takedown. This will be only striking. I do think it should go the distance. I think they're both really tough guys. So I'm playing more, and I'm very confident in that. So I will triple my money on the monkey knife fight play by going to playmkf.com/we-want-picks. And if you would like to, use promo code WWP and they will instantly match your first deposit. Use that free instant match money and play the more here. Do you agree with that?
Yeah, more faux show.
Yeah, they should hit that by the middle of the second round, honestly.
The only thing that would upset that would be if Dober gets either one could get a knockout, I guess, but I think Dober would be the more likely to do it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I agree. I think this is going to go probably the distance, and they're both going to punch each other a lot. So yeah, more all day.
Yeah, as soon as those lines come out, hit it, because monkey knife fight, just like actual betting lines, move with the money. So play that before this one moves. I'm very confident in this line.